Hello. Today I'm going to read to you a story by Arundhati Venkatesh. It's called Petu Pumpkin, Cheetah Peter. The first chapter is titled Fire-Breathing Dragons and Spiraling Stairways. Yay, games period! Jatin skipped out of the classroom. Pushkin slumped. Why did they have games right after lunch? Pythons curled up and slept after a meal. Other zoo creatures napped in the afternoon too. Only human beings made timetables without a care about digestion. Pushkin rubbed his tummy, convinced the Rajma within would be ruined. Jatin stomped back into class. Why does it have to rain during games? Pushkin couldn't believe his luck. Good, I can get on with my revision, Kiran mumbled. You finished studying? Jatin's jaw dropped. The rest of us haven't started, Pushkin assured him. We could play, Nitin began. Bah, play what? Such rotten luck. A wasted games period. Jatin kicked the bench. Sachin woke up with a jolt. Nitin pulled something like a chessboard out of his bag. He opened it up. There was something written on top in curly letters. Fire-breathing dragons and spiraling stairways, Sachin read. Pushkin went closer to get a better look. Pink, purple and yellow polka-dotted dragons shimmered and spat fire. Star-studded stairways spiraled up the board. Ooh, said Sachin. Pooh, said Kiran. It's just a fancy name for snakes and ladders. Let's play. Jatin grabbed the dice. They settled down. The game began. Jatin nudged Sachin whenever it was his turn to play, because he kept dozing off. Kiran pored over his books even while rolling the dice. Nitin made an origami dinosaur while waiting for his turn. Jatin was the only one paying attention. This is boring, he groaned at regular intervals. I wish we could play outside. Pushkin had wolfed down a fistful of figs by the time he reached the square marked 89. He was this close to winning. If the numbers on the dice added up to 11, he would win. If they added up to 9, he would go down a purple polka-dotted dragon right back to square one. Pushkin picked up the dice. His parents didn't believe in God, but at times like this, Pushkin muttered the prayer his grandmother had taught him. He stumbled over the words. The science exam was the last time he had used the prayer. He could only remember 2 lines and he hoped that would do. He held his breath and rolled the dice. I won, I won, I won. Pushkin threw the dice up in the air. Petu, you cheated. You cheated, Jatin accused him. Sachin sat up with a start. Kiran looked up from his book. I didn't, said Pushkin. He didn't mind being called Petu. Venki sir had named him Petu Pumpkin in class 2 and now everyone called him that. You did, said Jatin. Cheetah Peter garbage eater? Sachin stuck his tongue out. Nitin made a portrait of Petu with an elongated nose and wrote, Pitocchio. It was an epic victory, Pushkin insisted. The last time he had won at anything had been in LKG. He had come third in the first round of the lemon and spoon race. That had been an enormous, amazing win. Pushkin's grandmother had promised to feed him a dozen lemon tarts if he didn't eat the lemon on the spoon. The thought of lemon tarts made Pushkin ravenous. He decided to celebrate his victory with macaroons his cousin had brought him from Tuticorin. He rummaged through the pile of boxes on his desk till he found a tin. Yum! Each macaroon was like a little snowy peak, crisp and crumbly and very inviting. Jatin was still fuming. When Petu's not eating, he's lying and cheating. What happened? Describe the scene exactly as you saw it, said Kiran, trying to investigate like one of the detectives in the books he read. Just then there was a commotion in the corridor as the seniors screamed out. Jatin's mouth was moving, but his voice was lost in the noise. Kiran couldn't hear a word of what Jatin was saying. Crunch, munch, crunch. Pushkin chewed noisily. Pumpkin, stop chomping, Kiran hollered. Sachin snatched the tin from Pushkin. It was empty. He began drumming, singing, and adding to the din. Pushkin's a pumpkin, finishing a biscuit tin. Sachin banged the biscuit tin drum harder and made a bigger racket. Lying and cheating, calling it an epic win. Macaroons, Pushkin corrected, not biscuits, and I did win. No one heard him. The commotion continued. Kiran gave up trying to listen to Jatin. He peered over Nitin's shoulder as he drew. Nitin's drawing was like the evolution of man chart Sari ma'am had put up in the board. He called it Evolution of Dawn. Charles Darwin will appreciate your art. Kiran pinned it above Sari ma'am's chart. I am not a crook, Pushkin tried to tell them. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Jatin's pitch kept going higher and higher. Sachin fired a barrage of questions at Pushkin. The nation wants to know, did Pumpkin stoop so low? Tell the awesome four. Admit it, yes or no. Pushkin began, I needed 11 to win, so Sachin cut him off. This is Shri Shri Swami Go signing off from CBCR Radio. A fake stomachache. That's the next chapter. Class was cancelled. They had marching practice instead. The third graders poured into the playground. Miss Madgaunkar sprinted across, barking instructions and waving wildly, trying to make them file into lines. Pushkin had said he had tummy pain and excused himself. He was sitting on the bench under the peepal tree. The others were sweating in the sun. Left, right, left, right, left, Miss Madgaunkar kept beat with her humongous drum. Pushkin waved cheerily as they passed by. Nitin slipped out of his place. He hurried over to Pushkin. Do you really have a stomachache? He asked. Not yet, but my stomach does need rest. Feels bloated. We had a feast at home, kebabs, cutlets, etc., etc. You must confess. We will still be your friends, Nitin blurted out and ran back to the battalion. See, Jatin whispered when Nitin had joined them. Now he's faking a stomachache. The four boys discussed Pushkin's evolution in hushed tones. Next, he'll be a pickpocket, Sachin predicted. Kiran nodded. Before you can say Charles Shobharaj, he would have turned into a con artist. What? Jatin was puzzled. Charles Shobharaj, master of disguise, an ace trickster, Nitin explained. At this rate, Pushkin is sure to grow up and become a murderer, Kiran muttered under his breath. We have to stop him. Let's do something. Jatin was a boy of action. First, we have to get him to confess. But that's what Petu has been refusing to do, Sachin said. The regiment relaxed. They were on the other side of the ground, out of Miss Madgaonkar's sight. Jatin had a plan. My grandfather says in his village, if someone makes a mistake, he is made to walk on hot coals with his feet bare. That sets him right. Exactly what Didi told me, Sachin chimed in. She said, if the person is not lying, the coal won't burn their feet. Dipping the suspect in a river is another method, just imagine. Jatin continued, if he is innocent, he'll float. That's new. We don't have coal or a river near here. Nitin was not in favor of burning or drowning Pushkin. There must be a better method. Hypnosis, Sachin jumped in. That'll do the trick. I know how to do it. Brilliant, Kiran was excited. Yes, Nitin seemed pleased with this peaceful technique. Only Jatin was bewildered. What is hypnosis? It's got nothing to do with noses or hips, Nitin clarified. Hypnosis casts a spell on the mind. So with that, we'll conclude the first part and wait for part 2.